What is up, everybody? This is Erik, the one and only bear collector. And first off, I wanted to wish everybody a happy holiday, a happy new year. I'm actually recording this on New Year's Eve. So pretty soon I'm probably going to hear the gunshots and the fireworks and everything celebrating the new year. But I'm actually putting this video out after the new year. So hope all of you had a great New Year's holiday with your loved ones, with your family and friends, as well as the Christmas holiday, even though I already did a video on that. But today I'm doing a video on my 2023 most memorable moments in video games. I've done a video like this last year and the previous years, but mostly last year, where I review games either that I already made videos of or haven't made videos of games that were memorable to me in the year of 2023. And, you know, 2022, the video that I did for 2022 was kind of like my first official video of this sort, where I discuss video games that, oh, there they go right now, where I discuss games that I either reviewed or will probably not do a review of, but I'll talk about them. But first of all, 2023, what can I say? 2023 was a year where my collection grew like big time. I was able to grab games that I wanted to get for many years, games that were costing a lot of money during the time that they were going on sale, but then eventually, you know, they went cheaper and I was able to grab a lot of them. So as you guys saw in my haul videos throughout the whole year, I had a huge amount of games that I got. However, 2023 was probably the year where I played the least video games. I didn't complete as many games as I normally do throughout the years. My list of video games that were memorable weren't that big, but there are a few. And I did get a lot of games. I was kind of focusing on games that I wanted to get the monkey off my back, games that I wanted to beat. There's some games that it took me years to beat that I finally beat this year. But there were some games that I did beat that I had a lot of fun and I was very fond of. And of course, the very first game that I want to talk to you guys about is The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel for the PS Vita. Okay, so this game right here is the reason why I didn't play that many games in 2023. You want to say I got burned out. Well, first of all, Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel. Let me talk to you real briefly what the game's about. It's about a bunch of students that get a bunch of young kids that get selected for this special class, and it takes in the period of one school year where they investigate strange happenings that are going on around the campus, as well as areas where they go and investigate, as well as this old schoolhouse that they go into and they go and check out every once in a while. Well, the story is kind of it's a RPG based on the Legend of Heroes series, but this one in particular, you have your students that go out and investigate. You get to team up with 7 or 8 different characters all at once. You take them to different adventures at the same time. In a way, it's kind of like a small dating sim style of a game where you're trying to holler one of the girls to be your main character. And of course, you know, you get to find out that there's more of a deeper thing going on in the game, you know. What can I explain about this game that really burned me out? Well, first of all, I started playing this game back in late September, early October of 2022. I played it. I wanted to use cheats on this game, so I did, but then I got to one certain part of the game where they give you points, where you distribute points to each of the characters so you can gain a likeness to them, like get more attached to the characters. But then that cheat messed things up. So I had to, I spent weeks trying to see if I can get the file back up, because the game got stuck in that third chapter. It was like the third chapter where they introduced that. The game got stuck, and I had to replay everything over again. And one of these things about this game, well, let me explain to you about this game. And I really do want to talk about this particular game. Basically, this is a series that I've always wanted to play for a long time. The game, how can I explain this game? It's kind of like, let's say for example, you meet this really, really good looking girl, awesome girl. You ask her out on a date, and you're like excited to get into this date and meet this girl, right? And you go out with her. Come to find out when you're at the date that the girl is good looking, great, but God, she's freaking annoying. Like, just won't stop talking. Too much talk, and you're trying to get things done, see something different, but it's a lot of blah 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 blah. Although that sorry for the explanation, is the way that I can explain it the best. Even though that gets annoying, you still want to find out more about her, or in this case about the game. So you go deeper in the game, but it's a lot of yada 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 yada, a lot of talk. So, and then at the end of the day, when you finally get to know her, it turns out to be, it wasn't disappointing, but it was just kind of like, it is what it is. Well, the game is like that. One of the major flaws about this game, it's a great looking game, it's a great game, don't get me wrong, but the story is so complex that that a lot of pieces of the game, it's a lot of chatter, kind of like a graphic novel for them, give or take. Well, graphic novels, I can't say games that are graphic novels are like that, but the game was just so much chatter. There were parts in the game where I was playing in, because I play in the evening after everybody's in bed or whatever, and I was falling asleep. I kid you not. But at the end of the day, after the weeks that it took me to get back on track to that part where I was at, I ended up beating this game. I played it from October all the way up to like, I think it was like, I have it in my notes here. I beat it on March, until March. So it took me about 6 months. October, November, December, January, February, about 5 to 6 months to complete this game. And it wasn't that I wasn't playing. While playing that game, I was playing it religiously. I wasn't playing any other games. So I got so burned out that I kind of, by the time I beat the game, and then not only that, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a spoiler. Of course, there's other parts of the game. There's Trails of Cold Steel 2, 3, and 4. There's more sequels to the game, but the ending just sucked. From all the stuff that I did, it wasn't a great ending that I thought I was gonna get, even though knowing that there's a continuation to the story. And it took me that long to complete, and it burned me out. It really burned me out to the point that I didn't get back and played games. I have on my notes, because I keep notes of how I passed the games. I beat like games that I knew I could beat easily, but not really get into a deep game until probably much later, which I'll explain in a little bit. But yes, like that girl, you want to go out and it doesn't turn out to be as cool as you think it is. This is how I thought about the game, but it still keeps me curious to keep going and see in the future, because I have part 2 for the PS3. I have the other games in the series, so hopefully, and the game is super long too. Hopefully that it doesn't disappoint later down the line, but I don't feel like playing the sequels anytime soon. Anyways, moving right along, another game that I beat, that I got the monkey off my back after so many years from when I was a kid, just like the Angry Video Game Nerd. I actually finally beat Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde for the NES. Horrible game. And this is one that I won't, just like Trails of Cold Steel, I'm not going to do a video of this one. But if you guys, of course, by looking at the Angry Video Game Nerds video that came out a few months back when he beat it, yes, it's that bad. I was curious about it and finally got it. But yes, I finally, even with cheats, it's horribly hard. It's super hard. But yeah. Now, another game I got the monkey off my back, and this game took me so many years to complete. I'm talking years. And you guys are probably going to laugh for this one because it's not a difficult game, but I'll explain. And that is Little Big Planet for the PlayStation 3. Well, okay, so where can I start? Little Big Planet, this particular game, to give you a little background on how I obtained this game, it was when I was still, and this is how far back I've owned this game. We're talking years ago. I used to live in San Diego back when I was married. There was a local Blockbuster Video that was closing down in Lemon Grove. I remember this very well. And I remember at the time telling my ex-wife, I'm like, and telling my ex-brother-in-law, I'm gonna go check things out and maybe they have some games on sale. Well, one of the games that I really wanted to get was Little Big Planet, and lo and behold, you can see the sticker here. It will say $19.99, but I didn't pay that. I paid like a couple of bucks for it. Doesn't have the instructions, but yes, because I really wanted to play it. I had beat the PSP version of Little Big Planet, and it was really fun. Well, I played it, but then because it has a lot of collecting stuff and everything, over the years I would play it off and on. When my son, fast forward to right now, to my time, when I had my son, he was old enough to know about video games. He was very fond of Little Big Planet. He thought it was cute. He thought it was cool. So then it turned out to that point where me and my son play games together at certain times. Sometimes my son is the type, because he's still young, he'll change his mind and wants to play a different game. So I'll have a game. Perfect example as of this video. I still haven't beaten Security Breach for Five Nights at Freddy's, and that game I'm like right at the end, and he doesn't want to play it because he wants to play other games. Same thing happened with Little Big Planet, till finally I told my son, you know what? I need to beat it. It's been so long. So can't remember how long I've owned this game. I want to say it goes over 10 years that I was trying to beat it. And finally, around March, was it, that I beat this game? I beat it. And, the ending to it was just like, meh. So, and then I own Little Big Planet 2 and 3. Actually, I gave them to my son. But when I beat it, I was so disappointed in the ending. I thought the PSP version was actually much funner than, I don't know, PSP felt much funner than the PS3 version of it. But yeah, yep. And then another game, now talking about other games, looking at my list here, the other game that I got the monkey off my back is a game from my youth that I used to own. And a lot of people probably played it and it's like whatever, but to me it took me that many years to play it. Rolling Thunder for the NES, or Rolling Thunder for the NES. This game took me a long time to beat. It was one of those games that when I was a kid, I owned it. It was extremely difficult until finally I pulled through and I finally beat the game. Nothing really special. It's an arcade game, platformer, fun game. It wasn't bad, but man, it took me that long to beat. Now, this one I did a video of, and this little set of games are the spring. I categorize them from spring, summer, fall, and winter. So this one, and I did a video of it not long ago, Goof Troop for the SNES. This is another game I got the monkey off my back because when I know from the video, you guys can go look at the video. This game, it was one of those games that I played it when I was younger and I didn't grasp how to play it that well, and it didn't appeal to me until I finally began to play it and I was really hooked on it. So this one's a memorable game, that I got to finish off. You guys can go check out the video. I did a review of this one. And then the next game, this one's for my friend, for my homeboy, Gil the coach, if you watch. And I told him this game is a game that both me and him have not been able to beat since back in the days, since we were kids between us and since we were teenagers and young adults. And that is Solstice for the NES. I did use cheats on it, but I finally beat it. Man, this game could have used a password system or a save system. And that's one of the flaws about this game. But is this game bad? No. This game is super fun. An isometric, 3D isometric platformer adventure game where you're trying to collect the pieces of the staff and rescue a princess, I believe, that got held captive by an evil wizard. So yeah, there's actually a sequel on this one, which is called Equinox on the SNES. It's another game that I need to get, but that's expensive now. But I used to own that game, and that game was super hard as well, and I never beat it. So beat that one. I need to get Equinox for that one. Now this little set of games right here, these are the summertime games that I played during the summer. First one that I beat, and this is a game that that I owned for years, that I wanted to play and finally got a chance to do so. Paper Mario for the Nintendo 64. What can I say about Paper Mario? Awesome RPG. One of those games that I've owned for years. My girlfriend gave me, I believe she gave me this one Christmas. This was a game I got from her for Christmas a few years ago, and it was a game that it was in my bucket list to play, but never had the chance to play it. But it was really fun. Another game that my son held me captive to not play all the time. He wanted to be around to see this one, and he was around until finally I beat it. I beat it early summertime, late spring, early summer of 2023, and it is a fantastic RPG. You guys play it if you haven't. Another RPG that I got the monkey off my back, that I played when I was young, and it took me years to beat. It's Highlight for the NES. I actually got to the last part of the game, and then my game glitched out, and then I got really mad and never went back to playing it. When I was young, I could never beat it, but then when I bought the game a few years ago, I actually played it, got to the very last part, and then it just glitched out till finally I said, screw it. I remember where I left off and got to it, and I beat it. But yeah, finally got the monkey off my back out of that one. That game's with the Indiana Jones tune in the background. That was pretty slick. Now, speaking of other games, okay, this one I'm very disappointed about, and I will not do a video on it. Well, yeah, I wouldn't do a video on it. Might as well show it here. And this one, I thought it was going to be a great game because I know that I played the other versions. I don't know if it was Super Nintendo game. Forgot what version was it, but Adventures of Batman and Robin for the Game Gear. This version of the game, I did not like. The other versions, I want to say I played I don't know if it was Super Nintendo or whatever. I played that one before, and it's a game that's expensive. This one, I played it. Then I got to there's a few levels on there, but they're super hard. Like I played it and I just could not get past through it till finally I said, screw it, let me try it, and finally did. So this one I beat, but is not as great as the other ones. It's a good platformer for the Game Gear, but it just, I was disappointed with that one. And then the other game, this was a summertime game. I actually beat several Metroidvanias this year, and one of them that I had a lot of fun, that I owned in different platforms, and I'll explain right now, but the game is Shantae's Risky's Revenge. I actually beat it because this one's unopened for the PS5. This is the interesting part about it. I had bought it for my iPhone because I'm able to use my controller. Played it a little bit, and then it just wasn't comfortable on the iPhone. Bought it on the Switch as a digital download because it went on sale one time. Didn't get to it. When I finally got to it, I said, I want to get a physical copy of it. Lo and behold, I got this one around that time. Got the card for it, but I got the game at Best Buy because it was going on sale. And but then I beat it on the Switch. Really fun Metroidvania. I played part 1 many years ago, Shantae. I own the Game Boy version of it, but not the original. It's a reproduction. And Shantae's Risky Revenge was a good game. Highly recommend it. Really nice story, neat story. They try to kidnap her. Oh God. Okay, yeah. She's trying to, this is the bad guy, her right there. I forget the names. But she discovered a artifact that or she has an artifact that gives her powers, and she's trying to get it for herself. And in the process, she tries to, I believe they kidnap her uncle, or she's trying to get the stuff. I forgot the story, but it's a great great Metroidvania game that I really enjoyed. Now, this one right here reminds me so much of the summer of my vacation. And this one's a funny one. I did a video on this one. I don't know if I mentioned that on the video or not. And this is Grimace's birthday for the Game Boy Color. Now, this is a reproduction card because the game actually came out in the summertime to promote the Grimace Shake. But I discovered that they made it into a cartridge that plays on the Game Boy or Game Boy Color. And I bought it. Cost me a couple of bucks. But I had a lot of fun with this one. This is actually a very short, very easy, very fun game. But it reminds me of the summertime because the Grimace Shake was around for a while. And then I tasted for the first time the Grimace Shake when I was out in visiting friends in Southern California. And when I went on vacation. And I tasted the Grimace Shake and I was like, it was like whatever. Not my cup of tea, but it was memorable. And that game's memorable. Another game that was memorable that I've been wanting to play for years and I never could get it, Jurassic Park for the NES. Now, this one right here, this game is actually a game that I've been wanting to play since I was a kid. I used to own the Game Boy version. I own the Game Boy version, but the Game Boy version I never beat. And that's a game that I want to beat because I never got the chance to do it. This one, however, I started playing it because it's a game that always interested me. And I played it and I beat it. Really fun game. It's a tough game, but it's really fun. Maybe I'm thinking maybe I should do this is a game worthy of Let's Compare. Because yeah, this may be a future episode of Let's Compare. I may do that one. Very interesting one, but yeah. And then another game that I beat, and people have asked me to do a review of this one, and that's Cowboy Kid for the NES, a game I've been wanting to play forever that I've been knowing. I know this is a reproduction, it's not an original. This one I've been wanting to play for so long and finally got the chance to play it. However, it didn't meet my expectations. How can I say it? It's not a bad game, but it's not a great game either. And I thought it was going to be a really good game, being that it's a very expensive game to own. It was all right, but it was very memorable because of the fact that I've been wanting to play for so many years and finally got the chance to do it. The cover just trips me out. It reminds me of some lost members of the Village People, man. Just the way this cover is crazy. But this one might be another future episode, so I don't want to go into too much detail with that one. Now, speaking of Metroidvanias, there was another Metroidvania that I wanted to play for a while, and I finally did it. Oh boy, was this one so great. And that is Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom for the Switch. Very, very fun Metroidvania game. What can I say about this one? I learned recently that this is not a Wonder Boy sequel. It is a spiritual successor to Wonder Boy. However, so many elements of Wonder Boy, like they did such a great, fantastic, because I think it was a Kickstarter game that they did it as a Kickstarter, and then it came out. It's a game expensive to own, actually, but I nabbed this copy for really cheap. One day I'll explain it in a minute, but this game is a spiritual successor to Wonder Boy. Fantastic Metroidvania. Definitely worth playing. You'll have a lot of fun. This one took me a little bit to complete, but it was fun. How I got this one? Well, around the time that I got it, I want to say a year or two ago. No, it's actually a few years back. I don't know how long this game has been out. Anyways, it was around the time that I was visiting my friend when he lived in Manteca. For those of you who don't know where Manteca is an area that's near Stockton and, you know, around those parts of the area of the state. He used to live there. He lived there for a few years before he moved to Southern California. But I went to go visit him, and I remember it was raining a lot, and I wanted a copy of this one because they were selling it at Best Buy, and everywhere in Best Buy was sold out until one that was on the way home in Pleasanton. It was raining like crazy, I remember, and then they had a copy. It was going for, because this game cost a lot of money. I bought it for like $20 at the time, and I got myself a copy, and it comes with a little manual and everything. Really cool. But yes, a game, if you guys haven't played this one, or if you can get a digital copy, this is a great game that continues the tradition of Wonder Boy. Very good game. Moving right along, the next game that I did a Let's Compare episode. I think it was my last Let's Compare episode, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes for the NES. A game that is now becoming, or it is a game that's too expensive to own. I beat this one. And I made the video, so you guys can go check out the video. Really fun game that it took me years to get, and I explain more on the video, but a fun game nonetheless. After that one, okay, so this one's interesting. This is a digital game that I beat for the Xbox One. This one, I bought it a few years ago, and it took me a long time to complete, and that is Amazing Princess Sarah for the Xbox One. Now, it's a digital copy for the Xbox One. Now, this game right here, it is a 2D side-scrolling action platformer, but the stages are humongous. You gain experience and levels by beating enemies, and you get stronger, and your meter gets bigger, but it's extremely hard. So over the years, this is a game that if I was playing a game on the Xbox One, I would kind of play this one on the side, and eventually around the summertime, not around the summertime. These are fall games now. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes were fall. Around the fall time, I beat it. So finally, I started playing it, and I ended up beating that one. Really, really fun game, but really tough. And then, of course, the other one, of course, and I did a video with the Let's Compare. Well, before I get to that one, I'm looking at my notes. Yeah, Attack of the Killer. Actually, yeah, the other one was summer. This is the fall one. Then I beat this one, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes for the Game Boy. Really interesting game, and like I said, I did a Let's Compare, so you guys can check the video. But this one was very memorable. I beat it around the time as Amazing Princess Sarah. So yeah, I'm getting my games kind of mixed up. And then finally for the fall, another game that I got a little bit disappointed, but it's a game that is memorable. The Uncanny X-Men for the NES. Sorry. When I read that this game was not great, I should have listened. And of course, it's by our famous company, LJN. But man, they missed so badly on this franchise on the NES. I beat it with cheats, but it was still hard and annoying because it's an overhead action game. Kind of like not a dungeon crawler, because you got to do a lot of back and forth, looking for keys or looking for ways to go in and out, meet the enemy, beat the enemy and get the item that they're holding, or else you'll play the level over, I believe. And then after you beat all the levels, you can select certain levels. You have to do a certain button combination to go to the end. Really crazy. I had to look it up online. But this game, what's annoying about this particular game, I think the most annoying is that they pair you with another X-Men to accompany you. But the AI for that one is so stupid. It gets stuck on the screen, and then you can't scroll up until that character goes. It's just a mess. No, I'm not happy with this one. I mean, I wanted to buy it because this is a game that I wanted to play since I was a kid, and I never really played it, but I've seen gameplay footage of the game. But I thought people were just overreacting about it. Nah, man, it sucked. But yeah. Now moving into the wintertime games. Yeah, the next game, I should have mentioned another game, but maybe I'll mention it. the next game, because this is one that I wasn't planning on mentioning, and I do own it. Give me 1 second while I look it up, because this game is, I'll look it up right now. Yeah. I wasn't going to mention it, but I think I should, because it was kind of memorable. And I really liked this. I liked it. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. And I want to say Super Adventure Island for the SNES. I own the cartridge for it. I do. But this was one that I thought was going to be a really cool game. I played it through. I wasn't too happy. I felt like the series kind of went backwards with the way the direction of the Adventure Island games were going, like on the NES with part 2 and part 3. But then after I played it, it wasn't so bad. I actually kind of chuckled and said, nah, it's an all right game. It's cool, you know? Eventually, I'm going to be doing, because I said that I was going to cover all the Adventure Island games. I'm going to do so. So, at later time, as time goes by. But I wanted to mention that one. Adventure Island was one that I beat around the beginning of the winter time. But then around that same time, I beat this one. And this one was a game that I owned for a long time, that I played and I kind of gave up on it and kind of got the monkey off my back. And that's Goofy's Hysterical Tour for the Genesis. Another game that was a missed opportunity for the franchise. They had the thing going with the style of game that it was, where Goofy uses these gadgets to go around, that arm gadget to do things, but the game was just not that great. Like, I thought it was okay, but not as good as Goof Troop. Goof Troop was actually really good compared to this one. And they missed out on this one. I believe Goofy's trying to get the attention of the professor, who's working at a museum at night as a janitor, and he's trying to do good with the professor so he can get promoted. But then Pete gets jealous and switches these I believe these hats or something to different eras, and so Goofy has to go to the quote unquote displays and put the appropriate hat, some weird thing like that. But it was an okay game. It's a platformer. But the controls, I think the controls were just kind of not on spot. They were kind of faulty. But yeah. But moving right along on a good game that I played, that, I was supposed to play last year, or when I went to Disney World, because I bought it then. Turrican Flashback Collection for the Switch. You guys, get this one. This one right now is not going for a lot of money if you look for it. It has 4 great Turrican games. It has Turrican, it has Mega Turrican, Turrican 2, and the one for the NES, Super Turrican. There's 4 of them. There's another game. There's another one that has the other, because I guess there's some other Turrican games. The ones for the NES, it doesn't have it. But the ones right here are like for the Commodore 64, for the Amiga or something like that. Anyways, really, really, really fun game. Took me a little bit because the longest one was the original Turrican. But the other ones were a little bit shorter. But I had a lot of fun with this one. It kind of like a break from all the RPGs and all of that stuff over the year. And I was supposed to play this one for when I went on vacation a year or 2 ago. But I finally played it. Really fun game. And then now, this one right here. What can I say? I thought this one was going to be the last game that I was going to play for 2023. But it wasn't. It was the second to the last game. But this one really moved me. It's a game that I was so impressed by it. You guys are probably going to be like, oh, like whatever. But of a series that I just kind of earned a new respect for. And I had so much fun playing it. I could not stop playing it. That is Call of Duty World War II for the Xbox One. Freaking great game. This game was awesome. I've never played a Call of Duty game, and I was never interested in Call of Duty games. I own a few of them, that I got in some sort of different situation or another. But this one was the one that attracted me the most because it's about World War II. And I love learning about the history of World War II, with the Nazis, with the Allies, the invasion of Normandy and all of that. That era really fascinates me as a historical point, And this game is basically you play one of the soldiers that gets sent to Normandy. Right away they get attacked, and you feel that pressure. It's crazy how they made it very realistic, like you're like right on the middle of the battlefield. And great story, great game. Very cheap game. I know I've seen it at GameStop for a couple of bucks. If you guys haven't played this one, or if you guys never played Call of Duty, play this one. You guys are gonna be amazed. Freaking awesome game. Can't say enough about it. I thought I was going to end the year with this one, which would have been great. But there's one more game that I got the monkey off my back that I've known for a long time. But this is a great game. Nonetheless, play this one if you haven't. But the last game of the year that I just beat about a day or two ago, actually. A game. Okay, so this particular game, along with Secret of Mana 2 for the SNES. It's an SNES game that never came out in the States. That it was only in Japan. Let's go back to 2009. Around 2009, I was living in San Diego. I was unemployed, looking for work. And during my breaks from being stressed looking for work, I lost my job due to the economy when it crashed, it bombed, I was playing games, that's where I started playing a lot of emulators, a lot of games, a lot of things, started doing a lot of music, started doing a lot of things creatively, because I had the time to do it, but still stressful. But one of the ways I got my stress out from looking for work is I would sit on the computer, go out looking for work to different places. It was a tough time. But one of the games, Secret of Mana 2, was a game that I started playing it, my game crashed, and I got mad. The next game that I played that I was really fond of, and I got far and it crashed, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, is Live Alive or Live Alive. I say Live Alive. For the SNES, but now for the Nintendo Switch. So going back to that game, I went far. And I got to the point where it was really good. Then my game crashed. Got really mad. Didn't play it. Waited a few years. Wanted to get back to it. We're talking 2009, 2010. 2008, 2009. Waited all these years until back in 2022 at a GameStop, I saw that this game was being made for the Nintendo Switch. I was like, what? Very first, since then, this game never made it to US shores or anywhere else. It was a Japan exclusive. Then they made it. Finally, I bought it sometime. I think I bought it sometime this year, because I got it really cheap, because this game doesn't really go down in price right now for the Switch. Got it cheap. Then I decided to play it. Right after I beat Call of Duty, a couple of weeks, because I've been on vacation. So I said, I want to play a memorable game for my vacation. Got this one. Man, very, very happy. I feel like I really accomplished something that I was trying to do for so many years. The game's a little different than the original SNES. Basically, you play 8 different characters through different eras. You have the Wild West, the prehistoric time, feudal Japan, the Middle Ages. You have the present, the near future and distant future, and the Wild West. Different type of, it's an RPG all along, but different scenarios play a little different. For example, the Wild West, you gotta defeat this one bandit, help this town defeat a bandit by getting traps. The prehistoric time, you gotta rescue your girl that got kidnapped by an evil tribe that's trying to sacrifice her. Feudal Japan, the era, you can either two things, either kill everybody in that scenario or don't kill anybody at all and go stealthy until you reach the bosses. And then you got the distant future, which is almost like a graphic novel more take. My favorite chapters were the distant future, where you did that story was great. It was a mix of Alien and 2001: A Space Odyssey combined. The story was excellent. It was awesome. Wild West was a fun one, as well as the feudal Japan one was interesting. And then you got the near future, where you write these mechas. It is really cool. Nonetheless, beat the game, because the Switch version, they threw an extra part of the chapter, which, oh my god, the boss was so lagging. It took me like a day or two to beat the boss and get together, and finally I did it. Awesome game to end the year with. Can't say enough about this one. Love it. One of the most memorable games I'll always remember for forever, you know, and I can't say that enough. If you guys haven't played this one, give it a shot. It's not a difficult game. It's not a long game. You'll have a lot of fun with this one. So there is one more thing I want to mention, an honorable mention in this one particular game. You guys might be like, oh, but it's a game that it's memorable to me because I play it with my son. And of course, Five Nights at Freddy's, the core collection. Now, I didn't beat all the games that are in here, because there's like 5 games. I beat Five Nights at Freddy 1 and 2. Five Nights at Freddy 2 was a game that took me so long to beat. When I got to the last chapter, the 5th night, it was so hard because you had to do some stealthy things in the screen. And finally, I beat that one, and now I'm in part 3. But my son, like I mentioned in the last haul video, he got Help Wanted, that VR one, Help Wanted, or I forgot the name of it. That one's fun too, but yeah, honorable mention for that one. Gotta say that one. But yeah, these were the games that were so memorable to me of 2023. Hope you guys enjoy the my video. I appreciate all of you, and let's see what 2024 brings to us. Hopefully at this point, you know, I got so many games now. It's time for me to start beating a bunch of them, so I could do more memorable, have some more memories on these games, because these are fantastic. Anyways, this has been Eric, the Bay Area Collector. Hope you guys have a happy new year. I will see you next week with another video, and of course I'll continue doing my Let's Compare, because I got a lot of other videos that I want to do for that one. And of course, other games too expensive to own, as well as other videos. Anyways, this has been Eric, the Bay Area Collector. You guys take care. I'll see you next year, or I'll see you this year, because I'm recording it the year before. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.